Hello, in this video, I'm saying to you, see your life like a book, like a story. Join me. Hello, welcome to Take a Step to a Better You. I started this channel to share what I learn, continue to learn. This is Motivational Day. If you are new, my name is Sherifa Nakalema. I'm a business owner here in Virginia, USA. And here I do a lot of things. But before that, I have to welcome you and also welcome the ones who are returning. Thank you so much. You know, we got to 300 videos on this YouTube channel. If you haven't voted, those who are returning, please make sure you vote in the community tab. Vote for the videos you like to watch here. But for those of you who are new, I'm here. In fact, let me show the schedule that I explain what I do here. I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I read books, business books, like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I finished. Now I'm on Cash Flow Quadrant. Then on Thursday, I drive around. You know, I'm in Virginia, USA. So recently I drove at night. I showed you Walmart at night. So those kind of things I do on Thursday. Then on Friday, I come live, general. We do success habits. Anything you can do to better our life, that's on Friday. Then on Saturday, I come live, this time for affiliate marketers, affiliate marketing only. Tips, that's what I do on Saturday. If you want to learn how to make money online, earn money online, come on Saturday. Then on Sunday, motivation, here. The time is 9:30. I changed it to 9:30. It's earlier than before. I used to be 12:30. I moved it because of YouTube recommended. So 9:30 a.m. USA Eastern Time. So that's really very, very different. And I chose this day not to move it because I know this day is mostly for my people in Africa. Because I know that your time, the other times when I bring the video is not really good for you. I know you prefer to watch in the evenings. That's why I kept this one here. So please share it with others. Sunday, invite more people. I keep it here for you. And for the others watching from other countries, I still have you in my mind. But you see, the world is like, the times is hard. So I decided to keep this one here. If you watch it later, you're from another country, or if you watched it late, it will be really, really late if you watched it at this time and you went somewhere else. Appreciate all of you. Today, like I said, this is motivational day. Let me see if I can motivate you. Please leave in the comments when I'm done here that you motivated me. You know, when I do premieres, please, those of you watching this on a premiere, remember, when you chat, you are chatting. When you finish, please leave something in the comments, because if the chat goes away, we need something on this video. Please, you're chatting, that's fine, but leave a comment. Or you can copy the same chat and put it in the comments, because it's so important that a video has comments, okay? Thank you. Now, I named this video, I said, see your life like a book. So right now, I don't know how old you are. You know, I'm talking to many people. I don't know how old you are. You know me, I'm 54. I turned 54 recently. So if I ask you the way your life is right now, if you had to write a book, you know, when you write your own story, they call it autobiography. If someone writes about you, and they come interview you and tell your story, you write about you, they call it a biography, right? I'm correct? Professor Tanya, if you see this, am I right? So biography, someone can write about you, or you can do the auto, you write it yourself. So assuming you had to write your story right today, the way it is, how would you feel about it? Are you satisfied? Are you happy? Are you happy with your story? You know, I did some research and I wanted to know the contents of a good one, of a good autobiography. This is, you think about, as I mentioned a point, there are 5. As I mentioned a point, you tick, said, yes, I have that, I don't have that yet, okay? Because later I'm going to suggest how we can improve our stories, okay? We are in this together. So, number 1, the quality of a good one. It has to be entertaining. Do you have any entertaining? In fact, they call it drama. It has some drama, like entertaining. If you have to write and people are going to buy it and read it, then it has to have some entertainment part, like entertainment parts. You know, you have to tell the story, the true story. Okay, that's one of the points actually. Number 1, entertaining. Number 2, inspiring. Like people relate to you, relate to what you're doing, and they want to do like you. Okay, do you have that already in your story? Number three, it has to be true. You know, you cannot, when you do an autobiography, you cannot, it's not what do you call it? It's not fiction. It's not fiction. It's true. So, true. It has to be true. You tell the truth. And then it has to be educational. Like people are learning something from you. You are sharing something they are learning. In that, like already, now as I'm listing these, you think about yourself. Okay, is there something you could share that people could learn from? And then memorable. That's a big one. To remember you. It's to remember. Like they will read the book, they read it, their book, your story, and they remember it. You hear me on here, I quote many people because I read their stories and I got out something and I quote it in my videos here. So do you have that kind yet? If you don't, let me go over this with myself. Let's see. Entertaining, drama. I think that one is enough for me. I don't know. If people know me, they find something interesting. I think I'm boring. Number, inspiring, maybe a little bit. True, maybe educational, memorable. I think so. I think I could qualify on the 4. But then this is not about like being successful, but creating something you are proud of, something you like, something that's truly you. You feel like if you are to go today and you wrote your story, people would know who you really are, how you are. Imagine grandchildren reading about this story. Are you already out there? Have you fulfilled your purpose? Is the whole you out there already or not yet? So if it's not yet, that's the purpose of this video. Or is to inspire you to create your real self. No apologies. Your real true self. Assuming that's a good self. Oh, I'm not saying you could have really bad things in your mind you want to do. No, I'm not talking about negative things. Your true self in a good way, the good self. You know when God, I'm sorry I mentioned God. Some people may not believe in God, I don't know. God, when God created a person, the person is good. A person is good. So the good self is the one I'm talking about. Do you feel like your good self is all done? Or you still have some more to bring up? Okay? Because what matters is not competing with someone else to do their best, whatever they're doing. It's you competing with yourself to make sure you're doing your very best. Like, for example, if you're a student in class, you could be like there are people who are really, really smart. We started with people who don't even need to revise anything. The teacher said something, they remember it. But for you, you could be struggling, you have to study. But did you do your very best? I'm talking about your very best in all areas, in everything, especially something you care about. If you're to leave this world today, have you finished your dreams, whatever you care about? I gave you 5 tips. I'll review these at the end. Let's go. So, let me ask you also, if that same story, your story, the way it is now, let's forget about what your dreams are, the way it is now. If it was played in a movie, like someone comes and writes out some characters to go play it in the theater, your story as it is now, I don't know how old you are, whatever age you are so far, if they went to act out your story in a theater, you know, I used to go in theaters before I did my Hajj. You know, I went to Hajj Mecca, and after that I said, I'm not going to movies anymore. I don't. But when I used to, a long time ago, you know, the way you go to a theater, you buy, like here in America, you buy some popcorn, they sell the big ones. Very expensive, by the way. I don't know why they sell them those prices. The big popcorn, the big drink, the soda, you're all ready to go. You sit down, waiting, okay? They have those things that come first, and commercials and stuff. Now your story starts. I don't know your name. Sherifa's story. Okay? The kind of story you have so far. Is it the kind that when I came with my popcorn, I'm eating, I feel, I'm going to give 2 types. Is it the kind where I feel so bored that I even forget to look at the screen? I just eat my popcorn and then I don't even finish it. I say, maybe I came with someone, I say, you know what, let's go, this is not worth it. It's too boring to stay. Is that the kind that there's nothing entertaining, there's nothing? Remember those things that we listed? Is it how it is that they leave? They don't even mind that they paid money to come and watch. This thing is, It's not worth our time. Oh, is it the other kind? You remember I have my popcorn and I have my drink? Is it the kind that I even forget I have popcorn? Because I'm like in my seat, I'm like watching what's, you know, when you are watching something and you're wondering what's going on, what's going to happen next, and you're so glued to the screen, you're like, some people even cheer in the video. They're supposed to be like quiet, but they cheer, and then at the end they clap, they stand, they even don't want to leave. Is that the one? Is that the one you have already, or the one you want to create? Do you want to create that kind? I didn't put anything in the middle. It's the extreme. One is too boring, one is too good. You know, I think of a movie when I used to watch movies that I watched and I felt like, not like cheering, but it was worth it. If you have watched Will Smith, he was playing with actually his real son. It was called The Pursuit of Happiness, but that was based on a true story of this guy who was divorced, but then he decided he wants to keep his son. But then he was put in prison. That story, I wish you could go watch it. He was in prison and he ended up, he had an appointment. They took him to prison because of a ticket he had not paid. He ran out of prison with his paint because he was painting when they took him to prison. He's not even dressed up. And then from prison, he had an appointment the following day after being bailed out. But then he realized to go home to dress up would miss his appointment. So he decided to just run and go. And he showed up. They could not believe it. He was supposed to be in a suit, dressed up. Anyway, that story, the guy turned his life around. But what he had to go through with his son, and this is based on a true story. The person who was playing was actually maybe still alive. They slept in bathrooms. Like you find a bathroom and lock it, like a public restroom, and lock it and sleep there with his son in homeless shelters. You know, that story. And he ended up being successful. So, that kind of movie, that's the kind. Now, if not yet, if something missing of those things, I said it has to have some drama, like in an entertaining way. And then, like that Will Smith, the part where he goes to a meeting and with paint on him and stuff, that was actually some kind of drama, entertaining. Okay, inspiring, it has to be true, educational, memorable. I think that one qualifies. So, what kind of movie will yours be? And leave me a comment when I finish. But I'm not done. When you leave me, what kind of movie would you create right now, and what kind would you want later, like when you're all done? And then, which one of these are you missing? Mine is missing some, I think, entertainment. So what I'm saying, it doesn't matter what age. I don't want to talk about KFC this time because I talk about KFC a lot because he was 65, but anyway, I've mentioned it already. At 65, he changed his life. But what matters is that you are ready to change it, to create it. You have the power to create it. It's possible. You can create it, but you have to decide that you want to create it. And it requires patience. It requires so many things to come together to make it happen. Now, you think of people like Nelson Mandela. I'm assuming you know who Nelson Mandela was. The one who ended up being the president of South Africa. Do you know? Is it apartheid? Is that how you pronounce it? Professor Tanya again? Apartheid. When he was fighting in South Africa, the blacks being mistreated by white people, and he ended up in prison for 27 years. Can you imagine if you go to prison for 27 years? I think you're just waiting to die. But coming out and becoming the president of South Africa, after 27 years in a little cell, they show it if you can go Google it, they show where he lived for 27 years. Too small. So people like that, it shows that as long as you're still breathing because you're watching me. As long as you're still breathing, something could still happen. But it's not going to just happen. You intentionally are going to create it. Only if you're going to win a lottery, but even those people who win a lottery, they have to take out money and go buy the ticket, right? Some action. Remember my message here? Take a step to a better you. So, and recently, I just gave you the example of Nelson Mandela. There's another example of, recently I have a good friend who lost a husband. And this husband was a doctor, but then he had cancer, so he was sick for some time. But when they were telling the story, you know, I'm in USA, but they sent me a link. I was watching it. It was actually in Uganda. I was watching, and there's people telling stories and on the funeral. And I said, this person, he was sick, in pain, and all, but he was still writing papers. He was still writing about COVID. He was still writing about things. He wrote books for students to use. In fact, some he left them to be distributed for free to students to use. He was still doing it. Very, very sick. Whenever he had a little moment, he was still doing something. So until your last breath, you can still be contributing. You can still be creating your legacy. Okay, and a legacy that people like especially people in your family, your children, your grandchildren will be proud of. If there is some bad habit you're having right now, you are dealing with something really bad, you can, like something this is not good for me, you can stop slowly. Figure out a way, talk to someone, stop it slowly. You can turn it around. That's my message for you today. And I want also to say that, in fact, there is another story I was reading. This one I was reading in the news. Someone, I think in South America, somewhere, there is a person who could not give up. In fact, they have an experiment about him. His whole body is not working except the eyes. He can only see. So what they are doing, the experiment, you can go Google it. He's expressing whatever he's doing with his eyes. So they can type out what he wants to say, but he can only move his eyes. Have you heard of this technology? This person is like amazing. He's not giving up. He's still giving out his soul. I think his brain is still working good, but cannot speak and cannot write or anything, but his eyes can move. So they are testing the technology of writing things with his eyes. Don't misquote me if I didn't quote it right, but I know it's his eyes that were left, and the technology they're using to get out what he's saying or he's thinking, but just eyes left. Can you imagine that kind? As long as we are still breathing, we can still be productive. At least he's providing them the experiment. They can use that to get the technology, whatever technology they're trying to build. Okay. The other thing, but I'm always aware. Time can be good, can be bad, but time is always moving. The sun will always come up. It was got dark, but it's what you do with the time. And time, there are things that happen. Think of like a moment, something, when you felt like, wow, this is bad, or this is bad. I'll give you an example. For example, if you're a woman and your man left you for some other woman, and they are there having their good time and all that, do you know that time could change when, like 5 years later, he still left that woman for another one? My point is, time, things change. They can get better, they can get worse. So as long as you still have that time, what you do with it really matters. Let me give you an example. If you think that education is your challenge right now, you cannot get that job because of education. You know how long it takes to get a degree? In some countries, it's 3 years. In some other countries, like here in the US, it's 4 years. You may say, oh, 4 years, that's too long. 4 years fly by so fast, and getting that degree can change your life. So, time. And then, some other things, like a hobby. You could have something you love, especially now with the internet. If you have something you love, I'll give you an example. There are some creative people. Like some people could create like designs. Do you know that you can design and end up designing like clothing, like a line of clothing? You start slowly, you pitch, you do something, you pitch the rich people, they come and put their money, and it ends up in stores, Walmart. We have people design things, they end up in a big store, and just because you are creative, you're creative. In fact, I was reading about a young man who designs cars. You're a young black man right here, a young boy here in the USA. He's designing cars for a company. I like to read. I read magazines, like entrepreneur magazines, stuff like that. And I was reading about this young man. You see shapes of cars. Do you wonder how shapes of cars come about? People design them. So this young man is good at designing shapes of cars. So he was designing for a big company. But this started when he was a teenager. He likes to design cars. Then he took his talent, he got a job, he designs cars, new shapes. So whatever you can do. And then there is this story I can't miss. There is, I always mention I used to watch non-Dr. The Opera a lot. But one time he brought this man. He was a lawyer right here in Washington, D.C., in USA. He was a lawyer, and he decided to give up being a lawyer and become a baker. He was baking cake. In fact, it's called Cake Love. You can Google it. It's called Cake Love. So he said, I gave up the suits, and I think he had started baking with his grandmother or something. He loved cake. He felt he didn't want to be in the courtrooms and all those things the lawyers do. He decided, up to now, I checked, before I came here, I checked to see what's going on with him. And they were interviewing him. In fact, when he started, he was doing cake. He was baking cake, and he was doing cupcakes. So that was big. I know people, they copied him and they made it all around. Now he was closing his store, but guess what? He is doing online. In fact, at that time, when I checked him sometime, he was shipping cake. And now he's doing what they call, his name, the name of his company is called Cake Love. And his name is, I have his name here somewhere, Warren Brown in Washington, D.C. And Cake Love, he said now he's doing Cake Love in a jar because it's easier to ship online. You see things change, but he never stopped. He's still, and this was, I think, like 20 years ago. It's a long time since he gave up being a lawyer. So you can decide something you like and take it, feel how you monetize, they say monetize it. Figure out a way how to make it a business. For example, if you like baking, I'll give you an idea. Because of the reading I do, I see how people do it. If you like baking, and all you know is baking in your own house, do you know what they do if you don't have the money to invest in the equipment? You can go rent a kitchen, like in the restaurant around. You talk to them when they're not baking, then you go rent their kitchen or whatever you're cooking, something to do with cooking. You go cook in their kitchen when they're not cooking, and that's how you start. Slowly. Then that's how things happen. That's an idea if you're creative these days. But then, Jim Rohn, I like to talk about Jim Rohn. We talk about the story. Can you imagine the people like Jim Rohn? He died a long time ago, but we're still listening to him. He's still inspiring us. Those are the kind of stories we want to create. Jim Rohn says, he's changed his life at 25. When he discovered the new ways, he says that, because I like to quote him right, he says, you cannot change, no, not that one, but even if I don't quote him, because I know what he said, things change when you change. Okay, something will change when you change. Things will get better when you get better. But he also says something else. When he was telling his story, he says at 25, when he discovered these new things he did, by the way, he was a millionaire, by the way, by age 31. And he says, before he used to blame everyone. He had a whole list of the people he used to blame, the government, and this and that. He had a whole long list. But until when he knows that, when you change, that's when things change, started thinking around how to change. And he called this knowledge. Like when you get the knowledge and what you need to do. But then he says something else. That it's easy to change your life. And he defined easy as something you can do. So to him, easy, he doesn't mean it's easy to do. He means that once he discovered that easy is something you can do, and it's easy to change your life. So what can you do? Let me ask you, what can you do? Because he also says that the things that are easy to do are also the things that are easy not to do. So when he says easy, it's something you can do. You think of your life. What can you do? What could you do? It doesn't mean that things just happen, and success is not always money. Success can be whatever you want to create. So think of the Olympics just finished. Think of those sports people, the favorite one, the one you like, whatever sport they do. How is their life like every day? Have you ever known? By the way, if they're close to you, have a sports person, like someone involved in some kind of sport, talk to them or go read about their life. What do they do every day? they have habits. They eat, how they exercise, what they do every day. They have habits. Like everything is gonna take some habits, some consistency, some hard work. Some things don't just happen. They don't find you sleeping. So we want this better life in whatever, but we don't want to put in the time, the effort to do it. So he says, it's easy to change your life. But the definition of easy is something you can do. For example, he's also, when he says it's easy, the things that are easy to do are also the things that are not easy to do. Let me give you an example. The things that are easy to do, but are also not easy to do. Like if you want to be healthy, walking, taking a walk is easy to do, right? But it's also not easy to do for some people. So, like reading a book, if you want to get better, reading a book or watching a video, educational video, is easy to do. It's also easy not to do. The other day I was doing reading as a success habit in my life. And I was asking people how many times they read, how many books they read. People are not reading. So, like being consistent. Being consistent is not easy. You can be like the New Year's resolution, you do it for a week, 2 weeks, then you forget, you give up. So it's not easy to be consistent, but it's also easy to be consistent for some people. It's easy to be consistent. Success habits. I discuss on this channel the I am affirmation, being grateful, all those things you do to make your life better. It can be easy to do or easy not to do. So, but it's your choice. It's your choice. My job here today is to encourage you to take action. Please take action. See your story as a book. So let's see. Review of the book, the story. A good one. A good one has some drama, entertaining. It has some inspiration. People relate to you and they feel inspired. It has, you have to tell the truth about you, not to go get some stuff from some other person and put in your book. And it has to be educational. People learn something from you when you're gone. Wise, wisdom, share something. Memorable, they remember you, especially for those grandkids. You want them to read that book and remember who grandma was, grandpa was. So, what are you going to do? Take out some notes, write down something out of these where you're going to start. But I think as you live life, as you become very active, these things just happen. They just create themselves because you're going to get into obstacles, how you do that, how you write that, how you do that. It becomes a story. As long as you're very active and following your passion, something you really care about, you'll do it. As for me, my part, I want to play the part. Remember, my life, by the way, is like this. It has gone like that. I told you I'm in starting over mode. Those who watch the movie, my video, We Need More Money, you know what I've gone through. Like at some point it's like this, then like that, then like this. But I keep going, because I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing, and maybe in about 6 years, I'm 54. By 60, maybe I'll have created something, and I'll get to do all these 5, and then I write my autobiography. Or who wants to write mine? You come interview me, I tell you all the stories. Something I've never talked about. We put it in the story. Let's see how it happens, but maybe I'll be the one to write it. If I'm still alive. I close it by inviting you to come to my world. I call it my world, but I've been testing things out. When I say come to a Facebook group, I say people come in the Facebook group, they don't even answer the questions I have. They just apply and that's it, and disappear. Then when I'm sending messages to them, they don't show up. And then I decide they're not serious. So the way to get to my Facebook group the right way is actually to come through the page I have for affiliate marketing, because that one leads you to my phone number. Then you communicate with me. Then I talk to you. This is free. I don't charge anyone. I'm here to support people. I'm learning. I'm sharing. So in fact, I'm doing 2 things now. There is that page that takes you to, even if you don't want to do affiliate marketing now, but at least get to me. Get to my phone number. So I'll put a link in the description. I won't put in the pinned comment. I'll put in the description. It takes you to, I say, click here to go watch Anthony in the video and put your email. All you have to do is put in your email. If you're not interested in affiliate marketing at this point, that's fine. But you get an email from me. That's the only way you communicate with me. Then you get to my phone number. Text me on WhatsApp. Let's see what's going on with you. And then later you're going to decide if you want to be on YouTube or you want to learn affiliate marketing, but at least you get in my group and start creating your SMART goals. SMART goals. I'm there every Monday. I come live every Monday. We are tracking SMART goals, and people are doing really well. The ones who have set their goals, and they're updating every Monday. So if you want that, you want to start something, come, link below, click on it. It'll take you to a page where I put your email, and then check your emails. You'll see one from me, Sherifa, and there's a phone number. Text me. For those of you who are really, really into affiliate marketing, come every Saturday. I put a link, this one in a pinned comment. Pinned comment so that you watch. We finished 5 videos now. 6, because I've come 3 times, and 6 videos, because we watch a short video and then I come live to answer questions. That's how I'm doing it. So if you're really into learning how to earn money online, every Saturday I'm live, and I put a link. Watch those videos before you come, because we've covered a lot. I started already just defining what is affiliate marketing and examples, and I talked about ClickBank, the niches, and then the other day I was teaching people the importance of an email list. So you need to watch those. By Saturday, maybe you'll have finished them, then come live next Saturday. See, that's my story, and I'm trying to create it. I'm creating it. It's going. I want you to come and be part of it. That's my video today. Did you like it? What did you take out? What's your story going to be? Are you happy with your story? You have time. You can make it better. The sun is still rising up, right? The sun is still coming out where you are, right? That means another day. And since you can see me, so many things are working for you. Number one, you are breathing, you are alive, you have technology, you can use a computer, you can access internet, everything is good. So come. See the links below. If you choose that you want to get to me by phone, go to I'll provide your email and text me on WhatsApp. Don't call it, just text. If you are choosing to just learn affiliate marketing, you don't even have to come to my Facebook group. Just be around. Just get to, it's called, I think I named it Affiliate Marketing Lives. That's the playlist, but I'm going to link it in the description below, or just go in the playlist and find Affiliate Marketing Lives, or just come Saturday on this channel, because that's what I do on Saturday. Friday is just general, we chat, and I choose the topic, and it's fun. We're getting our lives better. Like I always end them, I say, take very good care of yourself. Take very good care of your families. I hope you got something out of here. I hope you're going to think of your story and how you want to make it better. Maybe you're going to clap for you when they do the movie. Maybe you're going to stand up and cheer you on to win. Or, in the movie, like we are watching it and say, oh, you're about to win, and we are on our feet. Or we are leaving it. It's so boring, we are leaving. It's your choice. It's choice. Take very good care of yourself. Take very good care of your families. Take very good care of your health. I'm doing my part. Take a step to a better you. Please like it. Please share it. Please leave a comment for me. Subscribe if you haven't. Take a step to a better you. Bye-bye.